Hey guys, welcome back to the shack. It's nice and cool tonight, so I've got my little propane heater going behind me to save some firewood tonight. But I'm out here going to do a equipment review on an enclosure that got sent to me to try out, and going to do a little evaluation on it, give you my thoughts about it as far as its construction and the different features it has, and share some links with you if something you're interested in getting or if you think it may work for your application. The name of the company is a BROVR, BROVR, I'm guessing. That's the way it's spelled. Two of the main features of this enclosure is going to be that it has a fan built into the exhaust system, and it also has some LED lighting that comes with it as well that you can incorporate when you put it together. So I'm going to move over to the table and get all the parts out, and we're going to go through this and just see how difficult it is to put together. All right guys, so I got all the parts laid out here on the table, and I apologize for having you up in the rafters, but I was trying to get everything in frame so that you could see what we got here. It comes with the ductwork. This is kind of a unique design here. This one actually has some kind of a plastic shield around the ductwork that I haven't seen with one of these before. So kind of looking forward to that. We got the LED strip lighting here, USB powered. There's a Velcro in there with it, and it comes with a fan. The fan is a computer fan, but we're gonna break out the directions and figure this guy out, figure out how the fan goes in there. I've got all these little corner brackets here. I've got the cover here, which will probably be one of the last parts to go on, and the poles. So I'm going to get everything to where I can see the numbers and break out the directions, and we'll try to follow the directions if we can. Y'all know that I'm not great at that. It appears that the bottom part of this thing is going to require parts E, which is going to be these guys. All right, so I'm going to lay these over here where I can see the numbers, so as we need them, we can acquire them. All right, so I'm going to need parts E for the corner brackets. Also going to be needing A and F. So here's a box of A's. Here's the F's. All right, so it looks like we've got a E, A, F, A, E. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those together. The way the illustration shows basically is these two pieces here go together. The A's go together like so. So I'm going to knock those guys out. Let's see how difficult this thing is to put together. Need my E's. These E's are going to be the corner brackets that connect to the uprights. Now, from my experience with these things, guys, and these are true also, they're going to kind of be directional because they have the little stoppers that sit on the ground. So you're going to want to look for those. That's a pretty common thing with most of these enclosures. So you're going to want to make sure that when you put these together, you're going to want to make sure you put that little plastic foot, so to speak, all pointing the same direction. Sometimes they won't go together any other way, sometimes they will. And it's annoying when you put them together and you realize that you missed a foot and it's got a wobble. So I'm trying to make sure I get them all, the feet pointed in the right direction. Not that these may not be that easy to misalign, but I have had it happen because the little foot that goes on there, it'll actually work like this, but then your foot is on the outside. So you want to make sure that that little foot is pointed the direction that you're wanting to put against the table. So there's the bottom, and I'm just going to press this together really tight, as tight as I can get it anyway. Make sure that stays, and just set that off to the side for the moment. The upright posts, the ones that go up to connect the top part, I'm doing this thing from the ground up. The upright posts are going to be the B's. So there's going to be some B's, and then the rear ones are going to be the C's. So I've got those two sets of posts. So these are going to be, the longer ones are going to go in the rear, which is going to be the C's. So these two guys are going to go in the rear. And these two guys go in the front. All right. So next, to build the upper framework, it is showing that I'm going to need some H connectors, which is going to be this little bag here, and some J connectors. These are going to be directional. This one's going to need to go on this side because you're going up at that angle. And then this one is going to need to go on this side, pointed this direction, to make those pieces properly go up that way. So I got those two guys on there. Seem to be directional. They have a hole on the top. So I'm going to make sure I put the hole on the top on both of those. Like so. All right, so I'm going to have two of these guys. And I'm going to need a splice to go between them to go in the back. So this is going to complete this back bar right here. We'll go ahead and get that put together. All right. The sides are both going to get an A. There. And then I'm going to need another splice. I'm going to have two of the A's to go in the front here for this front port. All right. So now it is showing D's. So the D's are going to go near the back, but they're going to require another connector, which is going to be the G connector, which is the last bag. So hopefully we won't need any more connectors. Here, slide that together, and what that's going to do is that's going to build that flat top for you. All right, then I've got this guy here, which is going to be, make sure I got this guy right. It's going to be this side. And that connects that piece. So, I'm no rocket scientist, guys, but we got two pieces and a splice left. So I'm going to cheat, and without looking at the directions, I'm going to guess that this guy goes in here. There we go. So we have our frame assembled. And this appears to be another one of the flame retardant fabric covers. So we're going to probably put that to the test and see if it's actually flame retardant or not. It has definitely got a cool color to it. Got a little lime, fluorescent, orange, yellow, whatever you want to call it. Safety yellow going on. This simply drapes over the frame, and there will be Velcro tabs that will be used to secure it to this frame. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and from experience, guys, it's easier for me to do this part upside down. So you've got these little Velcro tabs around through here, and all you got to do is pull this thing up. You want to kind of pull it up snug, but you want to not snug enough to hide the other part of the Velcro where it connects. So pull that up snug. Make sure your Velcro is really nice and tight there. Get you to take a look at that thing real quick. I think I've got it to where the light should be kind of showing you the wrinkles. So here's what we're going to do right here. I'm just going to take my heat gun. I'm going to put it on high because it is kind of cold out tonight. And I'm just going to, you don't want to stay in one spot too long because you'd have too much of the heat effect. But I'm just going to kind of wipe this thing with the heat gun. Now, for you guys that don't have a heat gun, and if you get caught, I knew nothing of it, but you can go snag your wife or your daughter's hairdryer and get very similar results. So just a little tip for you. You may want to do that and not get caught hair dryer in your shop, but a regular hair styling dryer will do this. It may not get it as hot as quick, but it will work. And you want to get this guy nice and warm. And you can get a lot of those big wrinkles out. Because when this stuff is made and when it's being transported and all that, I mean, it goes through some heat and cold, and those wrinkles tend to stay. But if you heat it up really nicely, it will allow a lot of those wrinkles to come out. The next thing that I'm kind of interested to see is this fan. This thing comes with this fan right here, and I can see just by looking in there how this is supposed to go down here. It comes with this little filtering pad here, which is basically it's kind of like one of the ones that's in your vacuum cleaner, like a little HEPA filter or whatever. Just a filter element. And then you've got this other part that screws onto, if I can get this bag out. And you got this part here. This is just more or less an adapter slash cover that you can screw onto here. Now, this little guy is going to need to go on the inside. Let's kind of push that into that hole there. Let you see this. So on the inside of that little screen there, now I've got my little piece of filtering element there. And this hole here, you can see it slotted right there, and that's going to be for this fan. Now, judging by the looks of this fan, the propeller's on this side, the motor's on this side. Generally speaking, the fan's going to pull air and blow it back that way. So I'm gonna hope that that's the way this thing's wired. So yeah, there's a couple of pins right there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to line the screw holes up to these little plastic pins and just kind of push it down inside that plastic piece. All right, and then I'm going to pull this over, and I'm going through that little exit hole there, and then I'm going to screw this on, and from looking at the design, that should hold that guy in there. And so now you have a fan inside the enclosure with a filter element on this side, which will, filter it out. All that stuff will actually kind of help keep the fan a little cleaner, maybe make it live longer. And then you've got the power cable comes out over here. So pretty simple design. It would be easy to change the fan out. That's good if it ever did go bad. It looks to be just a standard PC fan. I'm going to make sure that I actually put that thing in there properly by plugging it up and making sure which way is input and which way is output. Okay guys, I was right. So this is just a meaty, oh, that's nice. It's a lot, so it looks a lot tougher than what you typically get with these things. Is it just painted? Okay, it's plastic coated, which is unique. It's got like a plastic coating on it. I do like that better than the bright silver. And of course this would attach here with a clamp there, and it is stretchable. All right guys, I flipped it around and unzipped the lid so we could get a little bit better view in here and a little better lighting. Okay, so the light setup is some LED strip lighting with a USB power cable. Now, there is no power source that I have found in the box with it, but the cool thing about it is, and what I like to do anyway, is you can run these off of a battery pack like you use for charging your cell phone. I use a little pocket juice thing that I have because this is intended to be portable, so you don't want a whole lot of added wires and cables and stuff like that off of it. So what I typically do is I just use one of my little pocket juices to power these guys, and you can attach it with a Velcro strap to the frame, or you can stick it to the outside somehow, whatever you want to do. But that's typically what I do with these enclosures to keep from dragging a bunch of cables with me everywhere I go. This is my little pocket juice. This guy stays in the shop, so yes, it does look like it's been hit by a truck, but it still works. And there's the lights. And just an observation, guys, there isn't a switch on the cable, so you may want to account for that. But if you're using a pocket juice, it's simple enough to just unplug the thing. But you can just simply plug that in, lay it on the table next to your laptop when you're working, and you're good to go. Also, if you do have a laptop set up here that you're engraving from, you can actually just plug this into a USB port if you have one available, and that would work as well. All right, you knew it was going to happen. All right. They say it's flame proof, guys. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I like to do real world testing. I like to show you guys what exactly is going on, how much heat I'm putting on it, and I don't want there to be any debate about whether it's a rigged video or not. So I'm putting me a little piece of wood right there, and I'm going to expose the wood and the material to some heat, and we're going to see what happens. Now, for those of y'all that have watched some of my videos, I do have my little spritz bottle on hand just in case. And because I do actually plan on setting the wood on fire. So here we go. Let's see what happens. All right. So, as you can see, that was a very pleasant amount of heat, enough to char the material, the wood that I've got in front of it. I kind of split the flame. We'll do it again just to be sure. There we go. And it doesn't appear to have had any effect. Fire safety, guys. All right, there we go. If you're not using one of these, guys, do yourself a favor. Get you one. But as you can see, it didn't catch on fire. It did smoke a little bit. There is a little slight discoloration on the other side, but it did not contribute to the fire. And it resisted flames itself. So I'm going to call that a win on that aspect of this machine. All right, guys, so I'm going to hit this with a little bit of glass cleaner just to clean up after my little mark there if I can. Let's see how it looks. So there we go. Now, it did leave a mark on the surface. It basically looks like all it did was it took the coloring off of it. Well, yeah, it kind of took the rubber coating off of it, but that looks like some type of a fire blanket material underneath there. So other than some discoloration, I'm going to call that a win for what it is, no doubt. All right, next part, because I know you're going to have questions. This is the measurement part, guys. Between the plumbing that holds it together, you're looking at 26. Uh-oh, somebody's done used my 26 by 26 measurement, hadn't they? By 26. So yes, this is actually the same size as a clack shack enclosure. And if you had a little different door, it would look a lot like it. So 26 by 26 inches work area. And for those of you guys that are considering a camera, this is without a honeycomb or anything. This is from the tabletop to where the lights are mounted. You're looking at 17¼ inches. So 17¼ inches, my recommendation would be a fisheye camera probably for this guy, just to be on the safe side. But 17¼ inches down, 26 by 26. And of course the outside footprint of it is going to be slightly bigger than 26 by 26, and I'm going to call that 28 inches space. So you're going to need to allocate 28 inches worth of space for the outside dimensions of it, minus the vent. So that's going to be a consideration as well. All right, guys, this is gonna get a little smoky in here, but they asked me to test this machine's ability to remove smoke. And so the only way I know how to do that is using a device whose sole purpose in life is to generate smoke. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna have to reposition the camera and try to keep the smoke down in here, and we're fixing to do a little show and tell with this guy. So I've got the machine running. The air exhaust is running, and I've got the smoker in there. And just gonna see how well this guy can hold up to the honeybee smoker. All right, I'm gonna open the front now, because right now I've got it sitting on the table. It's more or less sealed in there. And we all know that it's important that you have as much air intake as you do exhaust. So I'm gonna give it some air intake and see what happens. I'm just gonna crack this front cover just enough to let some air in. And we'll see what the smoke does. And you can see the smoke moving inside there. It's coming out and it's blowing it out the port on the side. So let me move my smoker kind of around and get it behind the lights. That way you can kind of see how the smoke is moving. All right, I got a little too much airflow coming in here, so it's trying to come this way. But there you go, guys. It is definitely keeping it from filling up inside there. And I'm gonna move you around, let you look at the exhaust port on this guy. But you can see, and it's starting to get rather smoky in here, so we're gonna call this a win on the fan. All right, guys, I got all the smoke detectors to quit going off. But using leaves in the honeybee smoker is far more exhaust than you'll get under normal engraving. And you can see it actually did pick up a lot of yellowing and stuff from all the smoke, but that is an excessive, insane amount of smoke coming off of that, guys. I wanted to have enough smoke to where you could actually see it moving around, and I was going to just use the X-Tool D1, but figured what the heck, rather than trying to start a fire with my X-Tool, I would just use a tool that I had, which is a honeybee smoker, to just exaggerate the amount of smoke that would normally be in your laser enclosure. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Like I said, size, it works for all the machines that I have would fit in this enclosure. Flame resistance, it passed the test. It is definitely flame resistant. Everything about it seems to be as advertised. The lights work as intended. They're actually pretty bright for the inside of the machine. You can see that with the smoke test. You can see how well you can see in the smoke and so forth. And even the honeybee smoker, it was able to kind of keep that maintained, which that's an excessive, insane amount of smoke compared to a typical laser. Typically, you're not going to get that kind of smoke. I just wanted to be able to show exactly how the air moved inside the enclosure and exactly how much air it could expel. And I couldn't figure out another way of doing it other than using some heavy smoke and some lighting. So I hope that helps. I hope that works. I will be dropping the links for this down below if you're interested. And it's going to be the BROVR, B-R-O-V-R laser engraver enclosure. So if you're interested, they'll be down below. But I appreciate your time, and I hope this helps. And until next time, guys, be safe and have a good day.